feel the need to apologize. First, for my greed. I would love to blame my society for making me pledge to ideals of vanity, to a world of corporate ladders and flauntable wealth, to a mindset that places money over health. But I subscribed. I said I do. I'm the one that said more is more, and why have one when you can have two? I'm still learning. I am and always will be a student. But I pray that I will never be content or consent with being present in the 1%. I pray that I will be fervently bent on being more than discontent and become belligerent in the event that my intent, sentiment, or what I have spent is not what prevents but presents and augments another person's ailment. I pray that someone else's grievance is not a consequence of my convenience, but that their temperament is a testament of my benevolence and obedience. For when we cling to what we have, we are announcing our mistrust in a God who has claimed He will provide for us. But when we remember that our lives and the history of the world were written by the same hand, we can relinquish our property, our pride, and our demands. When I remember that my attitude is within my control, there are so many more things of which I can let go. Second, I must apologize for my pride, for the mentality that there is something to which I am owed, that what I have is something I have earned, not something of which I was bestowed. I have worked for what I have. I have put in my hours placing things away and artificially asking, "How are you doing today?" I have ensured that my hands stayed perfectly clean, refusing anything that might mess up my routine. I have earned what is mine, all the while doing the least I can to get by. I blame this pride on the curse of expectation, for it is because getting my dues is something that I expect that when I come up empty-handed, I always object. This is not an excuse, but a warning. The university degree that I will soon be handed is not something that I can take for granted. It cannot become a sign of my self-worth, but it must remind me of how I've been blessed since my birth. It does not grant me financial immunities, it only presents me with opportunities. If I use it to hang it over other people's heads instead of using it to provide others with bread, then I will need to take back all the words that I've said, and may whatever else falls from my mouth fall dead. Third, I must apologize for being reserved. I'm sorry for viewing a stranger first as a threat, then as a friend. For viewing an introduction as something from which I must defend. It comes from past pains and a hesitancy to trust, but I know that when I hold back, I am being unjust. I need to revert to the naivety of a child and remember that relationships will not always leave me beguiled. That when I see a stranger, no matter how disheveled they appear, I can listen to them, learn from them, grow from them, and drop the veneer for something a little more sincere. I am guilty of selfish altruism. Of that helping hand that I extend for a friend, yet really only doing it because I'm looking to transcend, and I wasn't comprehending why what I was doing was just offending, for they saw through my pretending and labeled it as condescending. I have held back and been an insincere hack for the sake of a plaque that doesn't mean jack, and I apologize for not trusting initially and not loving unconditionally. Fourth, I apologize for my guilt. I apologize for allowing it to be sufficient. I apologize for allowing it to render me inefficient, for letting it quell my discomfort, satisfy my mind, and leave me in a useless and unproductive bind. I apologize for allowing it to be the rationale for my morale, my reaction and my inaction, my culpability and my disability, my inconsistency. For when I take conviction past its limit and turn it into shame, I surrender my right to complain, for I have only myself to blame. I'm allowed to feel bad to the point of vexation, but if that's my only action, then I'm a walking contradiction. My generation has perfected the art of self-realization. We know who we are. We know what we've done. We claim that first step as ours. But if that is our only action, then we're never going to get very far. And finally, I apologize for apologizing. Yes, our world is broken. Yes, there are a lot of problems out there. Yes, we all have our issues and we all have our burdens to bear. But we are the kings of sarcastic tongue, of hidden lines and self-reflexive form. We'd rather knock down a good leader than allow ourselves to conform. There's a reason why my attempts to write larger than words lie crumpled on the floor. I'm scared that what I say will only attract insults and scorn. And all the while we're people yearning for more. We're praying for sentimentality. We're killing for sentimentality. We seek out honesty and settle for controversy. We seek out sincerity and settle for verbal irony. And for that reason, I am over it. I am over Christian guilt. I'm over the white man's burden. I'm over diverting and skirting, spurting slurred words for the sake of hurting. I want to do things because that is what I have been called to do. I'm not sorry for being sentimental or emotional. I'm not sorry for speaking out. I'm not sorry you feel awkward around me because there are things that I care about. I'm not sorry that I place being aesthetic over being aesthetic. I may not be magnetic, but I refuse to be apathetic. I do apologize for placing exegetics over being apathetic, for putting theology before philanthropy, for placing myself before love. I'm sorry that I have let my pride, my greed, my falseness, and my guilt hinder my potential for love. I'm sorry that I struggle with saying the word love. I'm sorry that I don't say it enough. For to be humbled is to be self-exposed, comfortable in my discomfort, intimately aware of my own holes. So I sit in a pile of filthy truth with nothing but a nodding head. Yes, this is me. Yes, I have wronged. Yes, I will wrong. Yes, this is sincere. I know that this is not a new frontier, but I need you to hear. Let my bleeding heart flow, and may it never be plugged with encumbering fear.